Everybody. I'm just gonna go over some healer stuff for you, like you guys asked for. Uh, Start off with is our gear. I don't run everything gold on my lightning staff, but generally as a healer, it's okay to use a Master Resto and Dragon Bones. You can also use your Maelstrom, or you can use a Spell Power Cure Resto staff as well. The two best traits for a healing resto is either precise or forward. I prefer forward for the more healing done. I just don't put anything on my maelstrom because I really don't use it as much, which I'll need to use for Voss. For back bar, it's going to be a lightning staff, so you guys can get the concuss damage and off balance. Generally, you're going to want a charge staff because it does a little more to throw them to off balance. You can either use a Crusher enchantment or a Weakening enchantment. A Weakening enchantment is more preferred for most healers, especially in this patch. Also, guys are going to want to use Spell Power Cure. Other gear you're going to want to use is Mending. Is a really good one for trials. A big important thing about trials for mending is you have to be within proximity of your tanks and your stam DPS. And I repeat this again, you need to be by your stam DPS or your tanks if you're the mending healer. It's very important because on mending, which I do not have them golded out, do not judge me. If you can see, it says when you use an area of effect heal ability, you reduce the weapon damage of all enemies within 10 meters of you by whatever. If you're not close enough to them, they do not get the buff from this set. So in other words, you might as well just be wearing Worm if you're in the back of the group. Also, for the skills, I run things a little differently on my healer. But I usually run things like Vanna does from the PC. You want to use Healing Springs on your front bar. Inner Light, which a lot of people have noticed does not like using it. I would request that all healers use this in healing trials because it also gives you your quick crit heals and gives you more max magicka. You want to use Breath of Life, of course, because it's the highest healing ability in the game for a Templar. You're going to want to use Combat Prayer. Combat Prayer is very important because it busts off your group. You have to hit it every 6 seconds. If you use it, it's going to give you, it's going to give everyone else a buff that increases damage done by 8%, which is very important for a healer to understand is you have to be casting this every 8 seconds. If you're not casting it every 8 seconds, it's going to be a no-go for the group buff uptime for the DPS. Me as a healer, if there's stam in the groups, I'm going to be using Ward Ally, especially in the harder content like VMAL and VHOF. It's very important. If you guys do not like using it, which if you're in my groups, I will make you use it. But another thing you could use to help you out is light armor for a shield, which I do not use ever unless it's really hard hitting trial. Ultimate for your front bar is you could use Reviving Barrier, or you could use Nova, or also I've seen other healers use Meteor, which I would not suggest because you really do not need that. A lot of healers use this to cheese their stats to show really high spell critical on their healers and max magicka. Yes, more max magicka can help you with your crits, but as you guys can see with mine right now, I'm at 41 and that's in spell damage is over 15 even on my healing bar. So you really do not need that much. Also, back bar. Your best friend right here is your channeled focus. It's going to give you magicka and give you really, really high physical resistance and spell resistance. You guys can choose between shards or your magicka balls. You guys just need to learn to speak with your other healers in the trial and have them use the other form of synergy. If not, you guys could both use balls, but I would like to see other healers using the different type of synergy. For a debuff for the group, if you guys do not like using double breath of life and hard content and are comfortable with doing it, a wall is a really good one. Another one you could use, which a lot of people like to use now and have been using for a while, is, wrong one, you can use Power of the Light. A lot of people like to use this because it does damage to the actual target and helps the DPS get the physical resistance down. Another good thing to use as a healer is your ritual. It helps tanks use a synergy for Alkosh, and also it can also help some DPS purge themselves as well. Also, a lot of healers, it's very, very important to use Ellie Drain. Brings the resistances down a little bit, and also it helps the DPS with sustain. It helps keep their magicka up, like it says on the bottom down here. Magicka allies restore magicka every 300 magicka every 1 second when damaging them. So you always have to keep a high uptime on your Ellie Drain. As well, with the Ellie Drain, you're going to have to ask your other healer in the group if they are using it. Now, in some trials, both healers are going to have to use it. This is a good example of this is in Hellra. When you split to each side, you're going to have to use Ellie Drain on your bosses and adds in there. And also, I just like using it even when the other healer is using it because I'm just used to using it. Because I'm an Ellie ho. Let's see if there's anything else I can suggest. Big thing for VHOF. If a lot of people are having hard time with Purge, I'll slot Mutagen in with my healing bar, and then I'll be throwing Ritual down a lot and spamming my Ward Ally for the stam. So it's most things for healers is all, it depends on what trial you're going into. So if you know you're going to be hit with a lot of damage, and you have to be purging a lot like the first boss of VHOF, you're gonna probably want to use this setup. It's okay to take off Inner Light, but once you have the opportunity of putting it back on, I would put it back on if I were you. Races that are best in slot for healing. A lot of people say Argonians are the best. Yes, maybe they will be, but my preference is Breton for the high crit heals, etc., etc. A lot of people like to go high elf because of the high recovery and the damage that they can do. I used to be a high elf, but I switched to Breton because it's easier to stay alive in hard mode trials, and the cost reduction that they get since they took it out of the game. You still get a cost reduction on, let me bring it up for you. A Breton, where is it? It is right there. Reduces magicka cost of your abilities by 3%. It's one reason why I chose that after they took the reduction cost out of the CP in the game, because it's ZOS and they're just that awesome. Very important, champion points start off in the red tree. A lot of people say it's very situational. for most classes, but on healer, you really don't have to switch much. I use Vanna setup with the champion points. I use 66 in Ironclad. Spell shield, I put a little bit in. I put 28. Thick skinned, I put 48. Ellie defender, 49. And Hardy is 49. I just split them. Let's see. Going to the green is Warlord. You go to 36 on the healer. 75 Arcanist. 75 Tenacity. Tumbling is 20. Shadow Ward is going to go with 34. Blue Tree, a lot of people like to put 100 in the Blessed. That's kind of overdoing it. You want to put a little more in other abilities here. You kind of want to split them up. So Blessed is going to be 75. 75 Elfborn, so you can do a little more critical heals. Spell Erosion, you want to put a little in, so you're going to put 12. Ellie Expert, I'm going to put some in. I just put some extra since we got a little bit more in with the new patch here. I have 37 in there. You guys just can experiment with it. Master at Arms, you can put 11. Thaumaturge, or however you say it, I probably just butchered that. I'm going to put 30 in there. Let's see here. It's because you're going to be using walls sometimes and it can do a little itty bitty damage over time effects. That is the champion points. Suggestions for healers. It's very important for a healer not just to slap healing springs on the floor. Yes, you have to keep yourself up and alive. A lot of healers I've seen in trials that I've been teaching as of recently, they don't remember to put healing springs on them and they'll be healing other people and then they die. You guys don't want to do that. You guys want to position yourselves along with the group in a healing spring while you're in the middle of it, while they're in it with you. If you guys look at healing springs, oops, I'll bring it up for you. Healing springs, when you're in it, you restore 338 magicka for each friendly target hit in the initial heal. So you guys want to always make sure that you're in it plus your allies. Also, synergies. Throw your rituals. Make sure your LA drain is up. Make sure your debuffs are on. Also, big with trials and keeping uptime and keeping everybody on sustain is throwing your synergies. Also, if you just keep throwing balls in a straight line, if you guys really think with common sense, who is going to get it over here, who's going to get it over here, you guys are going to have to throw it to the whole group. So be aware of your surroundings. Start throwing them out randomly to each other, maybe 3 at a time. With your synergies, they fixed them now this patch. Let's see. What is it telling us now? I know there's still a cooldown, but between one healer using one and, or healing orbs, for example, and other healer using the sphere, you guys are going to have a great uptime. You guys just can't keep spamming the synergies because there is a 20-second cooldown in this patch. So yeah, they can keep hitting them in the middle of animations now and when picking them up, but you guys can only hit so much for so often. So yeah, throw them every once in a while, go onto your thing, put your LA drain back on, put your bus on, throw down your other synergy, then go right back to throwing your other synergies, healing spring, combat prayer. You guys, if you ever figure out your healer, you'll notice that there is a pattern. It's not just throwing healing springs on the floor and slapping it on the ground like an idiot. I'm sorry. That's just the stupidest thing I've ever seen a healer do. You guys gotta keep your bus going. So, couple healing springs here, If you're seeing someone get hit with a lot of damage, throw Ward Ally, healing, Breath of Life them. Go back to your buffs, throw your crap down, throw your debuffs. Make sure everyone's getting buffed. Once you notice everyone's getting hit again, go back and forth. If you guys get really comfortable at flipping bars, you can use this exact setup. Now, if you're not comfortable, the only thing I can suggest, which I know a lot of in-game healers do this, you can double slot Breath of Life. So when you're in the middle, for example, of buffing everyone up and you're seeing someone standing and stupid, there you go. You're just going to hit a Breath of Life. Now, if your group is really good and they shield themselves, yada 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 yada, you can throw a debuff in there and you don't have to worry about it. Because they're very, very situational aware of their surroundings. I believe that's all I have. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to approach me. I am very approachable. If you guys don't understand why I use some things the way they are, it's because I have been using this setup for a long time, and I've done all hard mode trials except for VMAL, VHOF, completed VMAL many times with this setup. Only thing with VMAL I'll have to switch is I'll have to put a light armor shield on my back bar, which I put in place of ritual sometimes, or if the other healer has Ellie Drain, I'll put it where the Ellie Drain should be for the other flex spot. That's the only things I can really think of, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me any time of the day. To them on Discord, PSN. I don't care who you are, you don't have to be in my guild. If you guys have lots of questions, please ask. If you guys have anything negative to say, I'm not going to listen to it. I'm just going to block it or ignore it. Other than that, this is all I have. Again, I am Chubby Bunny 767 of PS4 NA server, guild leader of Do or Die. If you guys would love a guild to learn and progress, feel free to message me. I will get you in, I will get you tested, and we'll move from there. Thank you very much.